Your doctor told you menopause means automatic weight gain, declining health, and years of misery you just have to endure. But what if everything you've been told about menopause is based on outdated research, cultural myths, and a massive medical misunderstanding that's been corrected in 2025? What if the suffering isn't inevitable at all? I've compiled the complete research breakdown, including treatment options, supplement protocols, and exercise plans in the description below. Make sure to grab that resource because what you're about to learn contradicts decades of medical advice that kept millions of women suffering unnecessarily. Welcome to Better Body Secrets, where we bring you the latest scientific breakthroughs that mainstream medicine is just starting to understand. I'm here to separate fact from fiction using evidence-based research. Today, we're exposing the biggest menopause myths that 2024 and 2025 research has completely debunked. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what menopause actually is and what you can do to thrive during this transition instead of just surviving it. Menopause has been shrouded in misconceptions for generations. Women have been told it's an inevitable decline, a hormonal catastrophe that sentences you to weight gain, brain fog, and misery. But groundbreaking research from the world's leading institutions is proving something remarkable. Most of what you've been told simply isn't true. Let's start with the biggest myth that's been keeping women stuck. Myth number 1, menopause automatically causes weight gain. This is probably the most pervasive belief, and it's fundamentally wrong. Here's what's actually happening. A massive 2025 study from Mayo Clinic and research published just days ago reveals that weight gain doesn't start at menopause. It starts in your 30s. Around age 30, your muscle mass begins declining gradually as part of natural aging. This process, called sarcopenia, accelerates during your 40s. The decreasing muscle mass leads to lower metabolism, which is the real culprit behind midlife weight gain, not menopause itself. The Zoe Predict study, the world's largest in-depth nutrition study tracking over 1,000 menopausal women, published findings in eBiomedicine in October 2025. They found that while menopause changes where fat is stored, shifting it from hips and thighs to the abdomen, the total weight gain isn't caused by menopause itself. Women gain an average of 5 pounds during the menopause transition, but this matches the weight gain trajectory that started years earlier. Research from Vanderbilt University, published just 5 days ago, confirms that metabolic shifts happen during perimenopause, years before actual menopause, and that this window is when intervention works best. Here's the critical finding that changes everything. A University of Sydney study published in BJOG discovered something called the protein leverage mechanism. During menopause, your body experiences enhanced protein breakdown in muscles and bones. This triggers increased appetite for protein. If you don't increase the protein concentration in your diet to match this heightened need, your body compensates by increasing total calorie intake. You end up eating more non-protein calories, carbs and fats, which drives weight gain. The weight gain isn't hormonal destiny. It's a nutritional mismatch that's completely preventable. Studies show that women who engage in resistance training 2 to 3 times per week and consume adequate protein, between 0.55 and 0.73 grams per pound of body weight daily, can completely offset the metabolic changes of menopause. Zoe research found that postmenopausal women taking hormone replacement therapy had better blood sugar responses, lower body fat, and improved metabolic markers compared to those not on HRT. The weight gain you've been told is inevitable simply isn't. Myth number 2, menopause symptoms last just a year or two, then everything goes back to normal. This myth causes women to dismiss early symptoms and miss the critical intervention window. Here's the reality. Menopause is officially defined as 12 consecutive months without a period, but the hormonal transition, called perimenopause, begins 4 to 10 years earlier. Most women start noticing changes in their early to mid-40s. Some women experience early menopause, between 40 and 45. About 8% of women go through this. 1% of women face premature menopause, before age 40. The symptoms don't magically disappear after a year or two. Research shows that hot flashes alone last an average of 7 to 10 years for most women. Black women experience symptoms for an average of 10 years, white women around 6.5 years, Latina women about 8 to 9 years. A 2025 study from NYU Langone's Center for Midlife Health found that one of the biggest myths they hear from patients is that symptoms would only last about a year. This misconception prevents women from seeking effective treatment, causing them to suffer for years when relief is available. But here's what's even more important. Some menopausal changes, like loss of bone mass and early symptoms of heart disease, may only be detected through preventative screenings. They don't announce themselves with obvious symptoms. Genitourinary symptoms, including vaginal dryness and urinary issues, affect over 50% of postmenopausal women and progressively worsen without treatment. These aren't temporary inconveniences, they're ongoing changes that require proactive management. Understanding that menopause is a years-long transition, not a brief event, completely changes how you approach it. If you're finding this valuable and want to learn more about navigating perimenopause and menopause with science-backed strategies, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're releasing an entire series on hormone optimization, metabolic health, and strength training protocols specifically for women over 40. Myth number 3, hormone replacement therapy is dangerous and causes cancer. This might be the most damaging myth of all, and it's based on a massively misinterpreted study from 2002. The Women's Health Initiative study released results that year linking hormone therapy with increased risk of breast cancer and heart disease. The media frenzy that followed terrified an entire generation of women and doctors. But here's what nobody told you. The study was fundamentally flawed, and the findings have been reconsidered and corrected in the years since. 70% of the study participants were over age 60 and more than a decade past menopause. They were studying older women, not newly menopausal women. They used only one type of hormone therapy, a combination called Prempro, which contained synthetic progestin, not the bioidentical hormones used in modern regimens. The results only applied to that specific demographic and that specific hormone formulation. Research published in 2025 from Henry Ford Health shows that women who started hormone therapy within 10 years of menopause had dramatically different outcomes. They had a 30% lower mortality rate, 26% lower risk of dementia, and 48% lower risk of heart disease compared to women who took a placebo. The 2024 guidelines from the North American Menopause Society, NAMS, state clearly that the lowest dose of hormone therapy for symptom relief in women before age 60 or within 10 years of menopause can be safe and effective. Today, more than 50 types of hormone replacement therapy are available. Modern formulations contain bioidentical estradiol and progesterone, the exact same molecules your body produces naturally. These come in oral formulations, patches, creams, and vaginal applications. Women can customize treatment to their specific needs and symptoms. California passed Assembly Bill 432 in August 2025, requiring certain doctors to receive specialized menopause training to renew their licenses. The Menopause Society received major funding for its Next Gen Now initiative to train healthcare providers specifically in menopause management. This is happening because for too long, medical students weren't taught how to properly treat menopausal patients. The 2002 scare created a knowledge gap that persisted for over 20 years. But 2025 marks a turning point. Hormone therapy, when appropriately prescribed to the right candidates, is not dangerous. It's an effective, safe treatment that can dramatically improve quality of life. Myth number 4. If you're experiencing menopause symptoms, you just have to tough it out. This belief has caused immeasurable suffering. About 80% of women experience hot flashes during menopause, but there are dozens of other symptoms you might face. Anxiety and depression, difficulty sleeping, diminished sex drive, trouble concentrating, mood changes, brain fog, memory issues, bladder problems, heart palpitations, physical and mental exhaustion, vaginal dryness, and joint pain. The list goes on. And here's what research from the University of Delaware, published in October 2025, revealed. A study comparing menopausal symptoms between men and women found that only 3 symptoms were significantly different between sexes: stress, irritability, and nervousness. All were actually higher in men. Hot flashes, night sweats, and depression showed no significant difference between men and women in the study. This suggests that many symptoms attributed to menopause are actually related to normal aging, not hormones. We've been medicalizing a natural process and attributing everything to menopause when some of it is just getting older. But here's the critical point. Whether symptoms are purely hormonal or age-related, you don't have to suffer through them. There are lifestyle modifications, complementary therapies, and medical treatments available. Hormone therapy can alleviate hot flashes, vaginal dryness, mood changes, and poor sleep. Prescription medications like Veozza, a non-hormonal option, can ease hot flashes and night sweats. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors can help reduce symptoms of menopause-related depression and anxiety. Over-the-counter vaginal moisturizers can ease dryness. Low-dose vaginal estrogen can restore moisture and elasticity for women experiencing painful intercourse. Research published in Nature Reviews Endocrinology in 2023 documented that untreated moderate to severe menopausal symptoms significantly impact quality of life, productivity, and long-term health outcomes. There is absolutely no reason any woman should have to suffer menopause symptoms in 2026. The tools exist, the treatments work. The misconception that you just have to endure it is outdated and harmful. Myth number 5. Menopause is basically the same for everyone. This is completely false, and it's why generic advice often fails. Dr. Monica Christmas, Associate Medical Director of the Menopause Society and Director of the Menopause Program at the University of Chicago, stated clearly in a July 2025 interview, "There's not one menopause syndrome or collection of symptoms that every single person gets. That's a myth. Menopause experiences vary dramatically based on genetics, ethnicity, lifestyle, medical history, stress levels, and even cultural factors." Groundbreaking research from the University of Delaware, published in October 2025 by Professor Melissa Melby, compared Japanese women's menopause experiences to Western women. Japanese women experience fewer menopausal symptoms, take less hormone replacement therapy, and report smoother transitions into older age than their Western counterparts. The difference isn't genetic, it's cultural, linguistic, and medical. In Japan, menopause was traditionally viewed as the product of an autonomic nervous system imbalance, not purely an estrogen deficiency. The Japanese language has 3 different terms for 3 distinct types of hot flashes: kyu na nekan, a sudden feeling of heat in the face; hoteri, feeling hot or flushed; and nobose, a rush of blood to the head described as dizzy and woozy. Western medicine collapses all of these into one term, hot flash. This linguistic difference might actually underestimate the variation in experiences Western women have. Research also shows racial and ethnic differences. Black women experience symptoms for an average of 10 years, compared to 6.5 for white women. Some women are more sensitive to hormonal fluctuations and experience debilitating hourly hot flashes. Others have mild symptoms twice a week that barely bother them. Some women sail through menopause with minimal disruption. Others face severe anxiety, depression, and cognitive changes. Genetics accounts for approximately 40 to 60% of the variation in menopause age, but individual environmental and lifestyle factors remain powerful determinants of symptom severity. Your gut microbiome composition influences how you experience menopause. ZOE research found that gut bacteria composition showed links with inflammation, body fat, and blood sugar control in menopausal women. Women with more diverse, healthier microbiomes had better metabolic responses and fewer severe symptoms. Your specific medical history, including autoimmune conditions and prior fertility experiences, plays a substantial role in symptom severity. Smoking, body mass index, and socioeconomic factors significantly impact both timing and symptoms. The idea that there's one universal menopause experience is scientifically inaccurate and clinically unhelpful. Myth number 6. Menopause ends your sex life. This belief is pervasive and harmful. While menopause brings physical changes, including lower estrogen levels that can lead to vaginal dryness, thinning of the vaginal lining, and reduced elasticity, it absolutely does not mean you can't enjoy a fulfilling and active intimate life. There are multiple solutions for navigating these changes. Over-the-counter lubricants and moisturizers provide immediate comfort. Prescription vaginal estrogen can restore moisture and elasticity. Newer treatments address changes in arousal and desire. Open communication with partners goes a long way in maintaining connection. Research from Infinity Medical Group emphasizes that sexual health is a key component of overall well-being during and after menopause. Some women actually report improved intimacy after menopause because they're no longer worried about pregnancy or dealing with menstrual cycles. The physical changes are real, but they're manageable. The belief that menopause automatically ends your sex life is a myth that causes unnecessary anxiety and prevents women from seeking solutions that work. Myth number 7. You can't get pregnant during perimenopause. This dangerous misconception leads to unplanned pregnancies in women in their 40s. During perimenopause, ovulation can still occur even if periods are irregular. Pregnancy remains possible until you've officially reached menopause, defined as 12 months without a period. If you're not planning to expand your family, it's essential to continue using contraception until your doctor confirms you're no longer ovulating. This myth has real consequences. Women assume they're no longer fertile because their cycles are irregular, then find themselves unexpectedly pregnant. If pregnancy isn't part of your plan, don't rely on irregular periods as birth control. Myth number 8. IVF causes early menopause. This false claim circulated widely on the internet in summer 2024. Doctors quickly debunked it. Dr. Lauren Roth, a board-certified reproductive endocrinologist at Shady Grove Fertility, stated clearly, IVF and other fertility medications and treatments do not trigger premature menopause. Here's why this myth is scientifically impossible. Menopause happens when the ovaries have finished releasing all their eggs. IVF doesn't impact overall egg supply. It stimulates already available eggs that would otherwise die during that cycle. Every month, your body recruits a group of eggs. Usually, only one matures and ovulates. The rest of that month's recruited eggs die. IVF medications stimulate multiple eggs from that month's recruited group to mature instead of letting them die. You're not depleting future eggs, you're just using more of the current month's batch. The confusion arises because people undergoing IVF often already have declining fertility. The average age of IVF users is about 36. If menopause happens shortly after completing IVF, that person was likely already perimenopausal when they started treatment and therefore closer to the end of their reproductive years anyway. The timing is correlation, not causation. IVF does not cause early menopause. Now let's talk about what menopause actually is and what you should be doing instead of believing these myths. Menopause is a natural biological transition, not a disease. It's the end of your reproductive years, marked by hormonal changes as your ovaries gradually produce less estrogen and progesterone. This transition affects multiple body systems, but it's not inherently catastrophic or something to fear. Understanding what's actually happening empowers you to make informed decisions about managing this phase of life. The real game changer is understanding that perimenopause, the years leading up to menopause, is your window of metabolic opportunity. This is when intervention works best. This is when you can build resilience that carries you through menopause and beyond. Research from Vanderbilt University, published just days ago, emphasizes that waiting until you're postmenopausal to address metabolic changes makes reversal much harder, though not impossible. Your 30s and 40s aren't a countdown on to decline, they're an opportunity to build metabolic resilience. Here's your evidence-based action plan. First, lift weights. Resistance training is non-negotiable. Aim for 2 to 3 sessions per week, focusing on progressive overload, gradually increasing the stress on your muscles. This preserves muscle mass, boosts metabolism, strengthens bones, and improves insulin sensitivity. Research shows combining resistance training with cardiovascular exercise and a Mediterranean-style diet rich in plant foods effectively counters menopausal metabolic changes. Studies confirm that strength training after menopause burns more fat than cardio alone because it builds muscle which burns calories at rest. Second, prioritize protein. Include adequate protein in every meal to support muscle maintenance, increase satiety, and stabilize blood sugar. There's growing evidence indicating higher protein requirements than current guidelines suggest. Aim for 0.55 to 0.73 grams of protein per pound of body weight daily. That's 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram. For a 150-pound woman, that's about 83 to 110 grams of protein per day. Spread this across 4 to 5 meals. The protein leverage research shows this prevents the compensatory overeating that drives weight gain during menopause. Third, optimize your gut microbiome. ZOE research found that diet partially reduces the unfavorable health impacts of menopause by altering gut bacteria composition. Eat 30 different plant foods per week. This includes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. Each different plant feeds different beneficial bacteria, building gut diversity. Include fermented foods daily. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and other fermented foods increase microbiome diversity more effectively than most probiotic supplements. Eat polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, dark chocolate, and extra virgin olive oil. These plant compounds reduce inflammation and promote beneficial bacteria growth. Fourth, prioritize sleep. Poor sleep quality disrupts circadian rhythms in your gut bacteria, worsens insulin sensitivity, increases inflammation, and makes weight management nearly impossible. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. If night sweats are disrupting your sleep, that's a symptom worth treating, not enduring. Good sleep supports metabolic health, which supports better sleep, creating a positive cycle. Fifth, manage stress. Chronic stress devastates gut bacteria, increases cortisol, promotes abdominal fat storage, and worsens menopausal symptoms. Find stress management practices that work for you: walking, yoga, meditation, or whatever helps you feel calmer. Your gut bacteria literally respond to your stress levels. Stress management isn't optional self-care, it's metabolic medicine. Sixth, have informed conversations with your healthcare provider. Ask about body composition, not just weight. Discuss metabolic health markers like fasting insulin, hemoglobin A1C, lipid panels, and inflammatory markers. Talk proactively about hormone therapy risks and benefits specific to your medical history. If your doctor dismisses your symptoms or tells you to just deal with it, find a menopause certified practitioner. The North American Menopause Society credentials providers who have specialized training. These doctors have the expertise to manage menopausal health effectively. Finally, understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Building metabolic resilience takes time. Most women notice improved energy, better sleep, reduced cravings, and more stable moods within 2 to 3 weeks of implementing these strategies. Significant changes in body composition and metabolic markers typically show up within 2 to 3 months. The weight loss follows as your metabolism normalizes and inflammation decreases. Be patient but persistent. Track how you feel, not just the number on the scale. Progress isn't always linear, but consistency wins. The future of menopause management is personalized. Companies like Zeo are offering at-home testing that analyzes your gut microbiome and provides customized dietary recommendations based on how your specific bacteria respond to foods. Research shows that blood sugar responses to identical foods vary dramatically based on gut bacteria. One woman might spike her blood sugar from a banana, while another has
has almost no response. The difference is microbiome composition. As this testing becomes more accessible, we'll be able to identify exactly which foods benefit your unique biology, which probiotic strains would help you most, and which interventions will work best for your body. This is the science mainstream medicine is finally embracing in 2025 and 2026. Menopause isn't the catastrophe you've been told to fear. It's a natural transition that can be managed effectively with the right information, the right strategies, and the right support. The myths that kept millions of women suffering unnecessarily are being dismantled by rigorous research. You don't have to accept weight gain as inevitable. You don't have to suffer through debilitating symptoms for years. You don't have to fear hormone therapy based on outdated, misinterpreted research. You don't have to believe your sex life is over. You don't have to tough it out alone. This is science-backed, evidence-based truth that empowers you to thrive during this transition, not just survive it. The complete research breakdown, treatment options, supplement protocols, exercise plans, and meal strategies are all in the description. Click that link, download the complete guide, and follow me on Instagram at Lucas Nutrition Pro, where I share daily evidence-based tips and answer your questions in real time. If this video helped you understand the truth about menopause and gave you hope that this phase of life doesn't have to be what you've been dreading, smash that like button and subscribe for more science-backed
Health strategies that actually work. Share this with any woman over 40 who needs to hear this message. She deserves to know the truth. Menopause won't ruin your life in 2026. Armed with the right information and the right strategies, you can make this one of the most empowering phases of your life. Your transformation doesn't end at menopause. In many ways, it's just beginning. Welcome to your Better Body Secrets.